Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Soup Bowl. I'm your host, Renee Murdoch, and we are here taking this live one day at a time. This is where we're talking about leading our lives because why? It first starts with us. So, what are we going to get in today? Hey, first of all, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing this. And thank you for being on the journey with me. And I am grateful to be on the journey with you because we can't do this life by ourselves. We were created to be here with one another and not to do life alone. So I am happy to be doing life with you, whether you are a little extra special or not, because I'm a little extra special. So, you might, I don't know what type of seasoning you're going to get with me, but it's going to be some seasonings, right? And so I know that with you, I'm going to get some seasonings. And I am so happy about tasting different things. So, hey, if I never tried it once, I can't say I don't like that. So, but again, just thank you for riding out with me. So on today, what are we going to get into? Not really sure, but I do want to say that I do a lot of reading. I think I want to make this shirt that says, not too bad for reading rainbow, a reading rainbow child, something like that, right? So I'm always coming up with these like little slogans in my head because I actually was in a reading program in elementary school because I did not like to read, and I was not on the reading grade level I assumed that I should be. Now, of course, I'm younger, so I don't really know all the ins and outs, but I do remember this program, and it was called Reading Rainbow. I believe it was called that based upon the show. The gentleman, I don't know his name, but I think I kind of remember the song, I Can Fly Anyway. So take a look, it's in the book, it's Reading Rainbow. I think it goes something like that, right? So I don't remember the gentleman's name, but it was called Reading Rainbow, right? And so you would come out of class, they couldn't just be like, you students aren't reading on your grade level, right? They had to make a cute, nice little name, Reading Rainbow. Oh, it's so nice. And they would take you into the library, right? And you would sit down in a circle, whatnot. And then you would actually have some one-on-one with the particular, teacher or whatever that was doing it. And then the librarian was involved too. When I was done with that program, I don't remember how long I was in it. I don't remember if it was just that school year, if it was also the next school year. But I can say when I was done with that program, I just had a love for reading to the point where, as I got older and I was in my teens or whatever, I would be wherever, if I had time, I would be reading some type of book and the lights could go out, there's no more natural daylight and I'm still trying to read this book. Probably the reason why I have glasses to this day. I believe so. I believe that's the reason why, right? Because I wasn't wearing glasses when I was younger. So, I wasn't wearing glasses. If I look at my pictures when I was like little, I did not have glasses. I don't think I really started wearing glasses until high school. Yes, until high school. So, I think that's probably why it has something to do with that. So, but I love reading. And, of course, I wish I could have like that story, like the gifted hands or other people where they were just like, oh yeah, I wanted to learn about the solar system. And so I was in the library and I was just reading away. And I'm this great scientist. But no, that wasn't me. So actually, my mother had a box of books when I was a teenager. And I remember this. And there was some books in there. I don't even think they should have been in the house. But there was some books in there. And there were books. I remember there was books on computers. And then there were books. There were romance novels, right? And these romance novels were hot and heavy romance novels. Like they wasn't like, oh, we saw her from afar and she looked lovely. No, it was, ooh, I saw her from afar. Her breast is voluptuous, and ooh, if I could just take her nipple, it was that type of thing, right? And so here I am reading this. Was not healthy at all. But anyway, so that's kind of like where in my teenage years, stuff I was reading. And I was reading other things too, like, we got assigned reading, whatever. I'm like, oh, who's that author? And then I would go find another book by the author. Well, I say all that to say this, that I am going to try to, if I don't remember, you all remind me, right? I'm going to try to remember to do, just share some books or whatever that might, enhance you, your knowledge, your wisdom, or just kind of open up your mindset to start asking questions or go into your own discovery and research out there. Excuse me. Hydro flask, gotta keep it handy. But to go out there and to do your own digging in reference to what the person is actually talking about, or even just doing some more soul digging, some more soul searching or whatever. And I believe anything that you read, it should always prompt you to be asking questions. How, why, when, who, right? And then if you're not getting the answer, then you go dig for it a little bit more. And I believe that you'll come up to, a particular answer, right, that can rest right there for now. And it could be a little bit more knowledge that will come and understanding that will come afterwards. So, excuse me, everyone. So today I wanted to just tell you all about this book right here. It's called Heal Your Wounds and Find Your True Self. And I brought this up because we're always talking about finding our true self and, finding our purpose and things of that nature. And people are always searching for an answer. And I don't care if you are a believer, you're not a believer, you have whatever faith, we're all asking that question. Why in the world are we here on earth, right? And what are we supposed to be doing here on earth? And why this and why that? So this is by Lise Bourbeau. I hope I'm saying that right. Bourbeau. It's French. I actually had to Google that so I could make sure that I was saying her name right. I did. Anyhow, so but this you can look this up. But it talks about these 5 main wounds that we actually have in our lives, and whether you out of those 5 wounds, I'm going to give you what the 5 wounds are. So the 5 wounds are rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice. So out of these 5 wounds right here, there is one major one that is impacting your life. Not to say that you could not have went through all of these wounds, but there is one major one that is really affecting your life and the progress of your life. And so this book kind of lays out the details of what, one, how did we get to this wound? And then what mask are we wearing based upon the wound? And then how is our bodies formed, our physical bodies formed in reference to an internal happening, an internal wound that's going on, that our physical appearance is displaying this. Now, see, I had to do some digging. I'm not going to tell you, what my findings or what, I discovered as far as, because I want you to dig yourself, because I had some questions. What, shape, whatever, because she's talking about your body structure and like your hips, right? Your bones, right? Your chest area, your stomach, your buttocks, your ankles, like all of this has to do with the inner workings. Not only that, but it's also affecting your health. Now that I could get with, because I read a lot of health books and things of that nature that talks about, how that when we're not mentally right, because this is really about mental health, when we're not mentally healthy, right, then these things could lead to other things, right? So But if you have the wound of rejection, real quick, I'm not going to give you the lowdown of this book, but you need to go check it out for yourself. But if you have the wound of rejection, you are wearing the mask of a withdrawer. You probably heard the messages. We're going to unmask today. We're going to take the mask off. We're going to, but have we really taken the mask off? I don't think we have, because I don't think we've actually dealt with the wounds, the inner wounds that take place in our lives when we're younger and as we get older. And it literally breaks it down as far as like how these wounds came into play. And of course, it's based upon the adults in your life, the experiences and the encounters that you had in your life. Because I don't want to just say parents, because everybody hasn't been raised by their parents. So just the adults, the guardians that are raising you, or the ones that's even impacting you, right, while you're younger. This is starting. Y'all gotta get this revelation. This is starting when you're talking about before you're even walking, before you're even talking, that these wounds are starting to come into play, that you're being impacted by some of these things. And why? Because probably, more than likely, the previous, right, the adult that's in a life went through some of these wounds, are still carrying these wounds, and they haven't dealt with them. And so now they're projecting them onto their children, onto the ones that they've been given responsibility over. Okay? Abandonment. You're wearing the mask of dependent. Humiliation. You're wearing the mask of machoism. Betrayal. You're wearing the mask of a controller. And the wound of injustice, you're wearing the mask of rigid. Now, when I started going through this, I was like, ooh, I see that there for myself. I see that there. I see that there. So I saw myself in every single last one of these. But there was one more than the other. And that one affects the rest of them. And so that thing I had to deal with. Now, I was dealing with it and going through my healing before I read the book. But when I got the book, I was like, why couldn't I have gotten this book years ago? That's what I was asking myself. Why didn't I discover this book? Why didn't it pop up in my Amazon reading list? Why not? I don't know. And to be honest with you, I don't even remember how I even landed on this book. Maybe I was doing some research for something. With self-awareness, trying to lay out some content or whatever. And I think this book actually came up on, a book that was good for researching and references self-awareness. But I was like, man, this is really good. This is really good. And there's things that you have to do to really unmask these masks that we wear. We wear them in public. We wear them in our homes. We wear them at work. We're wearing these masks. And you just can't be like, oh, I know I got a mask on. I'm going to take it off today. I'm going to put it back on. Now I'm going to put it here and put it there. And it just don't come off in one day, boo. It just don't come off in one day. This is a process right here. This is a process. Because why? You didn't get like this overnight. So how you think you're going to fix it overnight? You didn't gain 50 pounds overnight. What makes you think that you're going to lose 50 pounds overnight? You're not. It's going to take work. Intentional work. That's why I want to say, let's get to work. Let's get to work because it's going to take time and patience. You have to give yourself time and you have to give yourself patience to work through the healing process. Don't try to do it. Don't do it. Don't try to be the shero, the hero. No one's looking for you to do that. And if they are, then they're not for you. This is for you. This is what you need to do so you can move forward in life, in joy, in good health, internally, and physically, right? Because some of these wounds are affecting your health, our health. They're affecting our health. Your stress level is way out of the markers. Now there's good stress, and then there's not so good stress, right? Some of these things are dealing with health problems in our heart, health problems in our gut. You got gut issues. It's because of one of these wounds. Thyroid problems, fibroid problems, knee problems, back problems. Is these wounds right here. So I encourage you to go get this book by Lise Bourbeau. To go get this book. You can get it from Amazon, whatnot. She actually does, just from reading her book, she does workshops all over. And so, and she has another book too that's called Listen to Your Body, your best friend on earth. So it's actually in Canada. So, but I mean, it's really good. It goes into a lot of details and things of that nature. You want to find out a little bit more about her workshops and things of that nature. You can get this book or just look her up because, I mean, I don't see any harm in it. But she is one of my reference for some material that I am putting together for a workshop on myself when it talks about finding yourself, right? And being that best individual that you can be on your job and in your home, and how it just, it takes time and a process. But we first need to understand why we are the way we are, why we respond the way we respond, right? Because we have to go back in time to understand, to get to where we need to go. And initially, I didn't understand this at first with my mother. But as I got older, I was like, okay. But I didn't understand when she was like, I don't remember that. I'm like, what? How you don't remember something in your life, right? Like, how you don't remember these significant events in your life? How is it that you don't remember them? And so this particular time I was referring to was who was the individual that helped, conceived me, right? And so she's like, I don't remember. I don't know. It was between this and that, whatever. It's, it's her story. I don't remember it, Renee. I can't tell you their names. And I'm like, what? Like, so you knew the family, whatever. There were twin brothers, or there were brothers that were really close together. And, one you liked, and one, quote unquote, was married in the service, and one took advantage of you, one did not. And so you don't remember their names? I was like, no, you don't want to remember. You don't want to remember. You don't want to remember. But as I got older, I came to realize that I had to accept the fact that where she was, that was her beliefs. And that was all that she could do. That's all that she could offer at the time. She couldn't offer anything else. I had to live with that. Because sometimes people go through things that are so traumatic that they do bury those memories, those times, and they do not want to return to them again. And so they suppress them. Then there might be something that happens along, and then they decide that they want, something triggers them. And then they want to respond or things of the nature. So my mother used to get triggered a lot because, and again, I didn't understand until I got older, but, we couldn't go anywhere, alone with the male. You couldn't, sit on their lap or lean on them or anything of that nature. You couldn't. And she was always asking questions. This is funny to me in a way. She was always asking questions in reference like, did anybody touch you anyway? Did a male? And it was always a male. It was always a male. But she never asked the question about, was there any adult? Was there any person? Was it male or female? She never asked the question. Because when I was younger, I have been violated by men, but I was violated when I was a child by the same sex, which was females. She never asked the question. I never told that this happened to me, right? And so, and it was at school. New, because I was always I always felt like I was a new kid in class because we moved around a lot. But going back to this, this thing of like suppressing traumatic events or whatnot, is that's all that she could do at the time, is because there was no work. There was no work done. And so if a person is not willing to do the work to get over and heal, I don't want to say get over, please forgive me, to not heal these areas, there's always going to be triggers. And then there's always going to be this gap of your life that you don't remember what happened there. There was a result at the end of this, but you don't really know what went on there. It's just like this blank space. And I can relate to it as far as like even childhood. I had to make myself remember certain things in my childhood. And I was like, well, I can't remember this. And so, of course, as I'm going through this process, as I start to remember, I'm like, this is why. Because it made me feel this way. Because this is what happened to me then. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that child again. I don't want to be, and so until I was able to deal with those things, there was this black space that was there. But it's no longer, because I was willing to do the work. And so, she didn't want to do the work. And so that's where it laid at. And so even so, I'm sharing this because we have to respect. So if you read this book, or even if you just do some research on wounds, right? And a lot of information is going to come up. We cannot blame the other person. We cannot point the finger at the other person. We have to take responsibility for, again, our actions and where we're at with this. We're adults. And so we have to be responsible in taking actions for how we're dealing with these wounds that are in our lives. I can't blame my mother for the wounds that I have and how I just carried them from childhood into adulthood. I can't blame her for the decisions that I made throughout life based upon my wounds. Because I still made those decisions. I decided to go there. I decided to make that transaction. I decided to be in a relationship with this person. I decided to befriend this person. I decided to go there. These were choices that I made. No one did make them for me. I didn't have a gun to my head making decisions. So I can't blame her for any of my wounds. They're there because of her wounds. And some of those wounds are there because of the decisions that I made. But there's no blame there. I'm not going to shift the blame on her and say, I'm not making and I didn't get the job and I'm not making this much money and I didn't get to go to school and no one bought me a car and nobody was there for me and this and that. I cannot make these lists of excuses of why I am not where I want to be. I am not where I want to be because of me. I'm going to say that again. I am not where I want to be because of me. Not because of my mother, my father, my grandmother, the foster care parent, the child down the street, the person around the corner, my teacher who couldn't stand me, my coach who abused me, the neighbor across the street, the supervisor. No. I am not where I want to be because of me. See, all those things that happened, 1 is part of the process. 2 is part of your journey. 3, what will not break you will make you. And 4, what those things are called are barriers. Barriers can be broken. Barriers can be broken. I have not encountered one barrier that I was not able to infiltrate through. Now, they might hold me up for a bit because I'm just going along. Oh, hold up. What's that? Why is that there? You just taking time to check it out. I can't get too close. I want to get too close. I don't know, whatever the case may be. No. It's removable. It's removable. It is something there to keep you from your purpose, to keep you from where you're supposed to be going. It's a barrier. And so sometimes, other than us moving the barrier, we decide that we're going to take a detour. Oh, them detours. Whew. It's not always good to take a detour. A detour can get you off course. A detour can take you a very long way to get to a place that you could have been there in just a few moments. Because we didn't want to endure and face the barrier. We didn't want to endure and grow and face that barrier. They're nothing but barriers that can be removed. But we want to take a detour because we want to take the easy route around when we think it's an easy route, right? Like we want to go somewhere where it's already been paved and it made the way. But no, that detour is there because it was meant for you, to get you from where you're supposed to be at. And we get on these detours and we stay on these detours for years. Years. So it wasn't a detour like, oh, I'm just going to go around this bend right here, then I'm going to get right back on the road. No. We're on this detour. We're on this detour and we've been on it for a while. And it is time to get off the detour and get back on the set path that is for you. That path is not going to be easy, I warn you. It is not going to be easy. It's not. Because it's only there to build you. It's only there to make you. You got to be able to withstand some things. You got to be able to go through some things. We're talking about leading our own lives. So we cannot discount the barriers that are there. We cannot go on these detours and think that we're going to get the results and the expectations that we want, and we're not even on course. So I cannot allow what has happened in the past to affect my future. I must face the past so I can get to the future. So I just encourage you today, that we are owning up to our wounds and dealing with the mask that we wear. And we're deciding that we want to take those masks off and then put on no mask and wear our authentic selves of who we are. So no more masks. But we got to be willing to heal our wounds. And it starts with recognizing what they are and then getting the necessary help that you need to do it. Well, we're out of time. I tell you, I could talk about this all day long, but we're not. But I want you to remember, leading is teachable. And I love you, and there's nothing that you could do about it. Until next time, we can get a little messy. All right, take care.